ahead, take a look at this video, because this is Cuddy arriving here at federal court in Lower Manhattan earlier today. Now, he is wearing the black leather, more than 50 bottles of baby oil and lubricant.
What happens when someone who once defined success in the music industry suddenly becomes the face of one of the darkest scandals in entertainment history? Sean Diddy Combs wasn't just another rapper or music executive. He was the blueprint. From taking over airwaves in the 90s to breaking into fashion, liquor, and media, he crafted an image of luxury, power, and limitless ambition. He made dancing in a suit look like a business model, and for decades it was. But now, everything he built is in jeopardy. In a matter of months, Diddy has gone from music mogul to courtroom defendant, accused of shocking crimes that stretch from physical abuse to deeply disturbing allegations of trafficking, coercion, and cover-ups. The receipts are stacking. The lawsuits are multiplying. And the people who once stayed silent? They're not silent anymore. This isn't just a celebrity downfall, it's a legal war, a cultural reckoning, and the unraveling of a decades-long empire. Let's break down how it all came crashing down, and what Diddy's crazy trial has already exposed. To understand the scale of this scandal, you have to understand who Diddy was. Sean Combs got his start in the early 90s at Uptown Records, hustling as a young intern. And he didn't just fetch coffee, he had an eye for talent. It was Diddy who spotted and helped develop acts like Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. He was ambitious, loud, and relentless. After clashing with Uptown's management, he got fired, but instead of folding, he went bigger. He launched Bad Boy Records in 1993 and signed a Brooklyn rapper who would change everything, Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G. From there, it was a cultural takeover. Under Diddy's leadership, Bad Boy became a hit-making machine. Juicy, Big Papa, M.O. Money, M.O. Problems. These weren't just tracks, they were generational anthems. And Diddy? He was in every video, dancing, talking slick, dripping in designer fits. He wasn't just producing records, he was branding himself as a force. Then came the business empire. He launched Sean John, a fashion label that went from streetwear to New York Fashion Week. He got involved with Ciroc and helped turn a struggling vodka brand into a premium lifestyle staple. He started Revolt TV. He bought homes all over the country, traveled by private jet, threw legendary parties, and rubbed shoulders with presidents and billionaires. By the mid-2000s, he was a cultural titan. A black billionaire mogul who had climbed the mountain, built his own castle, and pulled others up with him. But even back then, the whispers were there. Rumors of controlling behavior. Over-the-top parties with strange rules. Celebrity feuds that escalated behind the scenes. But no one really wanted to pull back the curtain. Diddy had money, lawyers, influence, and fear. People around him stayed quiet. Or disappeared. That all changed in late 2023, when someone who had once been part of his inner world decided she wasn't going to stay quiet anymore. For nearly a decade, Cassie Ventura was seen by many as Diddy's mysterious muse. The singer, dancer, and model was known for her low-key presence, shaved-side hairstyle, and occasional appearances on red carpets by Diddy's side. They were never officially together, but the relationship was undeniable. What the public didn't see, though, was the disturbing reality Cassie would later reveal in one of the most explosive lawsuits the industry has ever witnessed. In November 2023, Cassie filed a federal civil suit against Sean Combs, alleging a horrifying timeline of abuse that spanned nearly 10 years. According to the lawsuit, Diddy had allegedly beaten her, forced her into unwanted acts, drugged her, and trafficked her across state lines to participate in what she called freak-offs, private sex parties involving strangers and other celebrities. The complaint claimed he paid male prostitutes to assault her in front of him, that he used threats of violence to keep her silent, that he monitored her communications, took her phones, and used his staff to isolate her from family and friends. One of the most chilling claims? That Diddy once allegedly forced Cassie to leave a recording session in New York, drugged her, and flew her to a hotel in Los Angeles, where she woke up confused and vulnerable, surrounded by people she didn't know, at one of the infamous parties. The filing described Diddy's behavior as violent, controlling, and deeply manipulative. It painted a picture of a man who used his power not just to build an empire, but to trap those within it. And what shocked people even more? Just one day after the lawsuit hit the press, it was settled. $20 million. Gone overnight. Diddy's team claimed the settlement wasn't an admission of guilt, just a way to move forward. But public perception didn't buy that. Why would a man with that kind of money, fame, and ego settle so quickly unless he was terrified of what might come next? The internet caught fire. Fans started digging. And within days, the truth got uglier. TMZ released surveillance footage from a 2016 hotel incident. It showed Diddy violently grabbing, slamming, and chasing Cassie in a hallway. She was barefoot. He was enraged. It was raw, brutal, and undeniable. Suddenly, her lawsuit didn't feel like a claim. It felt like confirmation. Brands cut ties overnight. Music platforms saw his streams drop dramatically. Celebrities who once posted about him went silent. And the worst part? This was only the beginning. After Cassie's lawsuit was settled with lightning speed, it was like a dam had broken. Over the following weeks, more accusers stepped forward, each with disturbing stories of intimidation, abuse, and deeply unsettling experiences involving Diddy. Lawsuits began rolling in, not from tabloids, not from anonymous blogs, but filed in federal court, often with graphic and specific details. One of the first came from a woman identified only as Jane Doe, who claimed that she was assaulted by Diddy when she was just 17 years old. According to the lawsuit, the alleged incident occurred after a music industry event in the early 1990s. Diddy, already a rising figure in the scene, allegedly lured her with promises of mentorship, only to trap her in a situation she said turned terrifying. She described being plied with alcohol and then assaulted in a private setting. The most shocking part? The lawsuit claimed that others in his circle were aware of his behavior and did nothing to stop it. And then came producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones. His lawsuit wasn't just an accusation, it was an exposé. Lil Rod had worked with Diddy closely on a new music project and had been invited into what he thought was a life-changing opportunity. But according to his filings, that opportunity quickly turned into a nightmare. He alleged that Diddy harassed him, made inappropriate comments, and exposed him to a twisted world of high-powered drug-fueled parties where he was expected to go along with the energy. His claims included stories of being pressured to watch disturbing encounters, being propositioned by both Diddy and others, and being threatened when he tried to distance himself. He also accused Diddy of wiretapping, physical intimidation, and forcing him to sign NDAs under duress. And Lil Rod didn't just tell his story. He claimed to have video evidence, screenshots, and audio recordings that could potentially blow the case wide open. That's when people really started asking, if this is just the surface, what's still buried underneath? Each new lawsuit painted a consistent and terrifying pattern. Diddy allegedly used his wealth and power to trap people in his orbit, and once inside, escape was nearly impossible. Attorneys representing the victims claimed that he had set up an entire infrastructure to protect his actions. Private investigators, fake corporations, employees who acted more like enforcers than assistants. Some of the lawsuits referenced other celebrities being present or aware, though no one else has been named publicly. And while many of the allegations are still being litigated, the sheer volume of claims made it impossible to ignore. Social media lit up. Every day seemed to bring a new headline. Fans began comparing Diddy's downfall to that of R. Kelly or Harvey Weinstein, figures who once seemed untouchable until the weight of their victims' voices became too loud to silence. And while Diddy's legal team called the suits money grabs and character assassination attempts, something else happened that no one saw coming. The federal government got involved. 2 properties. 2 states. In a move that shocked the music world, Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami simultaneously. This wasn't just some gossip site rumor. Video footage showed armed agents storming into his $40 million Beverly Hills mansion, weapons drawn, securing the perimeter like it was a scene out of a crime thriller. Helicopters circled overhead. Streets were shut down. The feds weren't playing. In Miami, it was the same story. His waterfront estate flooded with federal agents who began seizing electronics, documents, and digital storage devices. News broke fast. TMZ had a live stream. CNN confirmed the raids were tied to an ongoing sex trafficking investigation. According to sources, the feds weren't just looking for evidence related to the Cassie lawsuit. They were pursuing a broad investigation into years of alleged misconduct involving multiple women, staff members, business partners, and possibly even financial crimes tied to hush money and shell corporations. Diddy's private jet was tracked leaving the country days before. Some thought he might be trying to flee, but his lawyers later confirmed he returned and was cooperating with investigators. Still, The optics were bad. Very bad. And then came the photos. Two of Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian Combs, were caught in the raid. Not as suspects, but as present parties in the house during the federal sweep. They were detained, questioned, and later released. But the trauma of the moment was caught on camera and spread across social media like wildfire. Fans were divided. Some saw the feds as finally delivering justice. Others felt the situation had gone too far, with innocent family members caught in the storm. But no matter where you stood, there was one fact you couldn't ignore. The government had declared this more than a celebrity scandal. It was now a full-blown criminal investigation. According to sources close to the investigation, agents were looking into years of NDAs paid out to alleged victims, surveillance footage from Diddy's properties, encrypted communications between his legal and financial teams, testimonies from former employees who had allegedly been threatened or paid off, and more lawsuits kept coming. One woman, another former employee, claimed she had managed logistics for Diddy's private guests and had witnessed things she can't unsee. She described being forced to destroy video footage and falsify guest lists. Another lawsuit came from a former bodyguard who claimed that blackmail materials were stored in a hidden room at one of Diddy's properties, allegedly used to control both victims and high-profile guests who had visited. This wasn't tabloid fodder anymore. This was systemic, coordinated, dangerous. The investigation was now looking at years of alleged abuse, not just in romantic relationships, but in Diddy's business empire as a whole. From interns to A-list collaborators, everyone was suddenly under the microscope. And through it all, Diddy stayed eerily quiet. No press conferences. No interviews. Just a few legal statements claiming his innocence. But behind the scenes, insiders claimed he was paranoid, constantly flying between properties, switching phones, and tightening his inner circle. Was he preparing for trial? Or preparing for something darker? Let me know if you'd like me to proceed with sections 5 and 6, where we'll dive into the secret settlements, his alleged manipulation tactics, and the fallout in Hollywood and the music industry. We'll keep building toward the final chapters, covering the courtroom drama and what could happen next. As the legal storm around Diddy intensified, the music industry began to distance itself from the once revered mogul. Collaborators who had previously celebrated his influence now found themselves re-evaluating their associations. Record labels paused projects, and streaming platforms reconsidered featuring his work. The silence from former allies was deafening, signaling a significant shift in the industry's stance. Public opinion mirrored this change. Fans expressed shock and disappointment, with many calling for accountability. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions, and hashtags demanding justice trended for days. The once glorified image of Diddy was now overshadowed by the gravity of the allegations. The courtroom became the epicenter of revelations that painted a disturbing picture of Diddy's alleged actions. Testimonies from former employees and associates detailed a pattern of manipulation and control. One former assistant recounted instances of intimidation and a toxic work environment that left lasting scars. Perhaps the most shocking testimony came from rapper Kid Cudi. He described an incident where, after a brief relationship with Cassie Ventura, Diddy allegedly broke into his home and later, his car was destroyed in a suspicious fire. Cudi's account added a new layer to the narrative, suggesting that Diddy's reach extended beyond professional boundaries into personal vendettas. Diddy's legal team worked tirelessly to counter the mounting allegations. They portrayed the accusers as opportunists seeking financial gain and questioned the credibility of their testimonies. The defense emphasized Diddy's contributions to the music industry, attempting to shift focus from the accusations to his legacy. However, the prosecution presented a compelling case, backed by testimonies and evidence that painted a consistent and troubling picture. The courtroom battles were intense, with both sides presenting their narratives in a high-stakes legal drama. As the trial concluded, the jury delivered a verdict that sent shockwaves through the industry. Diddy was found guilty on multiple counts, leading to a significant sentence that marked a dramatic fall from grace. The decision was met with a mix of relief and sorrow, as fans and industry insiders grappled with the reality of the situation. In the aftermath, discussions about power dynamics, accountability, and the importance of listening to survivors gained momentum. The case became a catalyst for broader conversations about the entertainment industry's culture and the need for systemic change. Diddy's trial serves as a stark reminder of how power can be misused and the importance of holding individuals accountable, regardless of their status. The revelations have prompted introspection within the music industry and beyond, highlighting the need for vigilance, support for survivors, and a commitment to justice.